Well, I got a lot of things to be thankful for, a lot of things to go to Christmas break with the balance that we had, almost 6 guys in double figures. And, you know, Gavin with the Magic Johnson pass that got Connor basket was nice. Felt sorry for Dan again. It's the second game in a row that his best guard was out. Had knee surgery today. But I think I'm maddest at Miles Bridges for throwing that ball to Nick Ward right before the half, and Nick had to shoot that or throw that one at the basket. Otherwise, you know, he wouldn't have missed a shot in 2 games. So I guess Nick, you know, is I think 16 for 17 now in 2 games and playing very well. It was Miles rebounded a little better. I thought those 2 guys played well early. I thought our guards struggled early, you know, turning the ball over in that, but they bounced back in the second half. And, you know, other than giving up some layups, I thought for the most part we were okay. And a good way to leave on break with 28 assists or, yeah, 28 assists on 39 baskets. The unselfishness continues. Still think we have a lot of room for improvement.
We talked the other night, John, whether the turnovers were unforced or not, and I was trying to count the difference between avoidable and unforced in the gray area there. What was only 3 in the second half, 9 in the first. What do you want to see? Like the Gavin Schilling, to you, is that unforced? Like, what do you want to see?
Well, we talked about that. We talked about illegal picks and charges, and I mean, that was borderline ridiculous, you know. And then the fumbling of the ball, those guards, they were just, I mean, I don't know what was going through their minds. You know, I think I'm learning that it's getting to be a little harder to play against. You know, it'll be good now because we come back from Christmas, and I think teams will get a little better, and then we'll be right into Big Ten play. And, you know, right now we're, you know, we didn't do as good a job on that area as I'd like us to. There's no secrets about it. And I think if you counted them tonight, we counted about 7 of our first 9 we thought were, you know, borderline ridiculous, unforced, whatever you want to call them. So, I don't know. You know, we're working on it every day. We're talking about it every day. Should be easy to correct because it's not even trying to make a play. You know, we're out in the middle of the court and we just throw it out of bounds, and we did some things. So that's the only negative. The good part is we only had 3 the second half, and, you know, I thought we played a little better and, you know, rebounded the ball. You know, we're still messing with lineups too, you know. And then we were going to get Ben back in, but when he sits for a while, trainers felt like for him and Kenny, there's no sense in going back in because they get stiff if there's not a little bit of a, you know, sequencing of events there. But, you know, we had, you know, McQuaid shooting better. That was a big thing. I thought Josh really played well early. But we had our moments when we still didn't guard like I wanted to, we turned it over too much, and so it'll give us something to ask Santa for on that big night coming up.
Tom, how much of a break will the guys get, and how much is this week good timing-wise to kind of?
I think it's perfect. I really do. Even though we had 2 games and we scored 100, I think it's really good that we get a break. I think we need one mentally, physically. I think even the coaches need one. You know, it's been great. The guys were great in practice these last 2 days. I mean, really focused. And I mean, to me, the practices were a lot more intense than the game as far as, you know, how we played. And so we still got to figure that out a little bit. But we're going to get off till the 26th. We'll come back the day after. And this is like 1 day longer than ever. And I think it'll be good. I think we'll get some guys freshened up. And we got to make sure Miles does a little cardio, and because his conditioning is just coming back, and he's starting to look, I mean, I thought really good, even when he missed some of those shots. So, you know, got to make sure Nick doesn't, you know, stays in tip-top shape. And Cassius, I guess, was a little hurt with his knee tonight. He had a little tendonitis in his knee, so it'll give him a chance to rest a little bit too.
Tom, you mentioned Nick and his offensive efficiency these last couple of games. But the other night you were happy the way he communicated defensively. I assume the same thing tonight. How positive is that you're getting closer to this being the consistent Nick Ward every night? You're getting that on a night in, night out basis.
Yeah, and I'm not going to, I told him I'm going to give him credit, which I did. It was, his communication out there is maybe as good as anybody's. And believe it or not, Miles was the other guy that's communicating better. So those two things are really positive things for us. But Nick's playing as well as he needs to play, and at the end there, he's only playing 20 minutes a game. He's got 5 more minutes in him. Now, early he was really tired because he was working and running. And then, we got a little complacent, all of us. But I think you're seeing more what Nick can do. He's starting to pass the ball out of there. He's stepping up on ball screens. He's starting to communicate defensively. I don't think he's rebounding like last year. That's the one thing I told him, He went up and got a couple of them, but he was getting a lot more two-handed ones last year. But there's a lot more big bodies in there, with Jaron. And then tonight we got Miles flying around in there a little bit better. And when X is in there, X takes up a lot of space. And Gavin's been rebounding a little better. So, all these things are tougher because we got better players around them. Miles is averaging the same points, as I said, as he did last year. But it sometimes doesn't seem like it because we got 5 guys in double figures instead of 1. And so in Nick's case, he's just got to stick what he's doing, and I got to stick with what I'm doing with him because those two things I think are working.
Coach, on Jaron, he didn't pick up his first foul till early in the second half. What is the throttle on him in terms of how hard you want him to go? The foul trouble he's gotten into this season, How do you explain that?
Well, I want him to go a lot harder than he's going, like when he ran the court a couple times and hit those wide open threes. That's what even Miles said to him at halftime, when he was playing the 4, that's where he got a lot of his threes. He hasn't been getting any of those. So he's running better, but he's still, I'm going to get out some Wilt Chamberlain things and tell him this is not who you want to be, and he's got to be aggressive, man. When he made that one move, when he put the ball on the floor to go in and he got fouled, that was a quick move. I don't think any of us know how quick that kid is. He's got a whole nother level that he can go without even doing a lot. So that's going to be one of the things I think we're going to really try to hammer onto him is getting in better shape. He's playing a decent amount of minutes, probably too many minutes for the condition he's in right now for the way we'd like him to play. But, man, it takes effort to block, 4, 6, 10 shots a game. I think we're averaging 11 or 12 blocks a game in the last 5, 6 games. Now, a couple of them against teams not as good, but some of them against good teams, and that's an incredible number. I'm not sure. Did we ever block 6 in a game last year in a game? Maybe we did, but I don't think so. So that is helping. I did feel like they shot better against us. They made a banked-in 3 and a roll-in 1, but they shot better. But you watch, that team will do well in their conference. That number 4 was a horse that he's just coming back from knee, kind of like Ben. And Dan said he's not quite there yet. They get that point guard back, Alberts, and he's a really good player. And then they'll have a little more depth. I thought we wore them down a little bit, especially inside.
Coach, things have been coming kind of easy for your team. What's the message that you give them so that they don't become, as you say, fat and sassy?
Yeah. Well, that's why I just keep hammering on the mistakes we're making because those are like lazy mental mistakes, and maybe I think it was even you that asked me it, and it bothered me when you asked it. Not that you asked it, it bothered me that you should never have to coach effort. That should be a given. You shouldn't have to coach it. But there is this is kind of new territory for a lot of us. I don't think for me totally, but definitely for them. Miles has never been through this. Cash has never been through this. We were barely favored in our green-white game last year. So, it was you like that one, Larry? But, it's somewhat true. And so you're right. I mean, that's my job, but it's not my job just to pick apart. I think you guys are agreeing that some of these things are not good, and we have to be able to control them. Now, is it because we're not focusing in enough when things go, well, and we get off the starts? Maybe. I just hate to be that way. I want to be different, I gave them a sheet of about 10 teams that have been upset in the last 2 weeks, and last night, Carolina goes down, but Louisville probably should have, and somebody else, Tennessee probably should have, so our motto is let's be different than everybody, which means can we stay focused in all kinds of games. We haven't proven that totally, and I say that, and we won by 40 points 2 games. And I think Dan's team is a lot better, but we still are shooting. We shot 60% in both games. We shot in the high 40s. We shot 80-some from the free throw line. And with all those assists, those are a lot of positive things. I just think the turnovers, and, at one time they were shooting 44 from the 3. It cooled off at the end, but we didn't. First 3 of the game, we knew Levin was going to shoot it right away and just weren't up on him. So are we losing a little focus? Maybe. It's been a grind for these guys too, though. I mean, you come off finals, and you can say the same for everybody, but everybody doesn't have this bullseye on their back that we have too. So if you add all those things together, I guess if you would have asked me, where do you want to be at Christmas? Would you like to be winning games by an average of 20 points a game, and who you played? And can you be 12-1 or 11-1? What are we? 12-1. I think I'd have taken that, So, plus I'm seeing improvement. I mean, Miles is definitely a lot better than he was 2 weeks ago. Nick is a lot better than he was 2 weeks ago. Cassius has played so well, maybe not quite as well these last couple of games, but, I think tonight a little bit the knee. So, Josh and McQuaid coming back is big for us. And then the bigs, we're just going to be rotating guys in there. Somebody's going to have a good night as far as X or, Gavin, or even, Ben will come back. We'll get Ben back in there. I said it'd be Christmas, and that's what it is, and we'll see what we can do.
Hey, Tom, with some of these comfortable margins of victory and so forth, it's a chance maybe to get some bench players getting some rhythm and so forth, because you're going to need the bench players to be efficient in the weeks ahead. Did you make progress with Schilling, McQuaid a little bit?
I think Schilling, I think McQuaid a lot, but that's what's kind of bad too is, I almost felt bad. I mean, had Miles in there a little bit longer, but we got 3-year starters in there in Tom at the end because we're redshirting those 2 kids, and and then when Kenny is sitting out medically just to make sure he doesn't do anything, and Ben, we're playing guys a lot of minutes that he wouldn't normally play. So I think it can help some of them. I think it's definitely helping McQuaid right now, but at the same time, I want to get Nick in the best shape he can get in. I have a certain amount of minutes I think some of those guys are going to play. I think I played a few of them too many. Maybe Jaron's playing a little bit too many for what shape he's in. Nick a little bit too little. Miles, I'm right about where he is. Cash, close. Tonight, Josh got in a little bit of foul trouble that first half, but he still played 20 minutes. I mean, those are because the games have been lopsided, but we're still playing 10, 11 guys when the games weren't lopsided.
Tom, overall, are you pretty happy with the shot selection, especially from your starters? You seem very efficient.
Yeah, that's a good word. I think we're running our offense better. That was one of the, I kind of forget some of the good things because I'm so driven on these turnovers, because I do think that'll be a downfall for us, and the three-point shot defense. But, we said a couple weeks ago that practice would get us more efficient offensively, and I think we're a lot more efficient in the last 5 games now, 4 games. We've been, going against maybe not the same kind of competition, but wide open shots are wide open shots, and now we're making them, screening better, we're coming off them better, moving the ball a little better. That zone gave us a little bit of trouble. I didn't think we attacked that great, but it was partly because our point guards just weren't with it early. I think we'll fix that. Getting zone doesn't bother me at all.
Tom, I was going to ask if you thought the offense had turned the corner at all as far as execution. So,
I do think we're executing it better, and I think one of the reasons is Miles is doing more now. He's starting to, turn the corner. He's starting to curl it a little bit more. He's getting some mid-range shots. That helps. Nick is becoming not a black hole that he was. So now when people double him, it's not a turnover. Nick, I don't know if he had any turnovers tonight, but I guess he had 2. I only saw 1, but Nick has been more efficient. He's been more efficient getting the ball out of those doubles and that. I think he's done a great job. So, yeah, I'd say in general our offense has been more efficient. I mean, the negative, if we want to come up with 2, we have been harping on this turnover, defending the 3 thing for probably, quite a bit of this season. And I see it changing in practice, but I haven't seen it change in a game as much as I'd like to see it change. So, the good news is we got 4 days to practice and 3 days or whatever, and can have a couple 2-a-days and get some work done here, and they'll be rested and hopefully fresher mind-wise. I will say Santa did come yesterday. We had our best academic semester since 2009. It's always been pretty good, but I had a lot of 3-point guys and better, and no damaging guys at all. So that should be noted somewhere, because I said I really liked our approach academically and athletically and socially, and that's kind of what you got to do in college, manage those 3 things. The social media, maybe we're not getting a high grade in that one, but I don't think you guys are either. So I'm probably the only one with a 4-point in that area, and hopefully I'll continue to improve it. Yes?
Tom, I wonder, you mentioned minute distribution and things like that. I wonder, when you do get a little break like this to kind of step away, at this time of year, how much do you kind of look at, coaching-wise or whatever it might be, things that you can change? Like, is this a moment for you to kind of look at the way that?
Yeah, I do have to. We're going to look at a couple things that we talked about, a couple different ways to attack the zone. We'll come up with a couple different out-of-bounds plays. We've actually been pretty efficient, and I don't know if you noticed, but one of the differences this year is we're not zoning the out-of-bounds plays anymore, and we've given up 1 basket now in 12 games or 13 games. So that's been a big plus for us. We've done a much better job of that. We've worked on that. But we'll throw in a few new wrinkles. But I think I got to spend most of my time still pressing up, defending the 3, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I asked each guy to give me something. If they got to beg Santa or their parents or somebody to what we can do a better job of as a coaching staff to get a sense of urgency on these turnovers. That would be, I'm going to beat that horse to death, because I still think in the end of the day, you look at our team right now, we got to be shooting 52% or so for the year, somewhere in that area. Our 3-point shooting is moving up. We're probably close to 40 now. Our free throw shooting is moving up. We need to get more shots, because if we get more shots, we're going to score more points. Anything else? Hey, you guys have a good holiday, whatever way you're celebrating it, and be careful on the road, and thanks a lot. Enjoy it. Most of you will be out at the bowl game, though, huh? Not sure yet, Reek? Not sure yet. You don't want to go out there and tan a little bit, huh? Yeah. Well, hey, have a good trip out there, and I'll see you guys when you